considering that it's World Cup final. We heard it on the way down to the convention centre. We also don't know what our signal's kind of like, but we will give it our best. I'm going to very quickly tweet that we are live. So if you do want to jump in, we've got a couple of people who have joined in on the viewers. The thing is this way, we could really do with just checking on the pop-out chat. As always, if you are wanting to take part in the hangout in terms of any kind of questions, it's our last one. So please take the opportunity to ask as much as you possibly can of us. We're going to hopefully get the YouTube chat up shortly. Unless you've got one on there.
No, I don't.
Well, in that case, what I might do is...
We're having a little bit of technical issues.
Well, we're not having technical issues. It's more signal than anything, isn't it?
I guess so. I mean, you're welcome to use the convention Wi-Fi on your phone.
Well, I'm fine, but it's you. It's at the end of the day, we're hosting it from this.
Because we're running everything off of my phone. Use your phone to get onto the chat.
I will do.
We're working these little things out.
Okay.
And this is the problem with Alyssa doing a show at 10 a.m. in the morning. Okay. I was barely talking about 15 minutes ago. So, and Leonard took a spell. We got on one of those.
Oh, I see. I see.
So
You're going to throw me under the bus on that one, are you?
France wins World. Maybe I shouldn't do spoilers. Okay, no spoilers. Sorry for World Cup folk.
Oh no, we're not talking spoilers.
Well, it was just a little pop-up thing.
No, we're not doing that.
Anyway, as you can see, we have a new location for this evening, and we're out for this morning.
Oh, you really are out of it, aren't you?
Totally.
Wow.
It was.
Okay.
We're staying together with Caroline, and this morning Leonard was like, "Do you want food?" And I'm like, "Bacon."
Yeah. Just basically what you could do.
The only word I could say was bacon.
Yeah. So,
shall we start on?
Well, I think we can crack on, absolutely. But I just want to just check. Let's have a look. So we've got ourselves a bunch of people on the chat already. Welcome along. We have ourselves Supercatchick saying she's in very early Wednesday morning. We've got ourselves Leanne D. Her flight leaves early in the morning. Her English is not even packed yet. That's fine. We've got Supercatchick who's actually tuned in from Crypticon, Kansas City. Yes, I know that you did actually offer for us to kind of co-host a little bit of a drop-in where you would talk about Crypticon. The only downside to that is that we'd be struggling to do our own show as it is. So there we go. So let's have a look. We have ourselves Sarita P. Good day. Carly Mid joining us. Sam Payne is joining us. Dr. Skyhawk. Michael joining us. Good morning and good afternoon. So Smeg. Listen, lots of people joining in, and it's a pleasure to have you along. Because 3 days to go. 3 days to go, people. Yes. This is absolutely our last one of 2018, and we are currently outside of the convention centre. We are nestled round a corner, just round from the Hall H sign. The banners are going up as we speak. I'll just turn it around. If you actually see, you may hear some banging and clattering because we have some tents being put up. The tents are going up, so we'll see how those are going to be utilised. Considering that, whether there's a great deal to be queued up for. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of early camping out for Doctor Who. There's going to be camping out for the WB. But there's certainly not going to be the excess that we've seen in recent years. This is the year that Comic-Con CCI have absolutely done their damnedest to kill the lines. They are making every effort in terms of shifting everything to online for the exclusives, which no doubt, as you know, you've either gotten something or not. Odds are that you didn't. I will talk about that in a second because I hosted a poll, and I know that the unofficial blog did as well.
I was not that organized.
You see, kids today.
Although there is something on the forum if you want to go way in there too. There's more of a discussion happening than on Twitter. Yeah, I think.
Excellent. So excellent. But if you, I mean, I don't know if you're in San Diego. If you want to drop by and say hi, you're more than welcome. I'm going to say the words now. Are you ready? It's only going to be a short one today. But it is only going to be a short. Yeah,
love you,
yeah,
mean it.
But it is only going to be a short one because, like I say, we're kind of just camping down. And to be honest, I think for the vast majority of it, we're all talked out now.
I mean, we've got a few things to go. Things to go over. I will say that a couple of websites seem to have crashed. Rather importantly, rather suddenly when the exclusives and signings announcement went on. We do have Dan Barry joining us.
Dan, yeah, you're on camera. Deal with it.
That's there. What you're seeing in the background.
There you go.
But
no, but he brought me a chair.
Oh, nice.
He brought me a chair, but I think the chair might actually take me to about here. So
well, that's okay.
I don't want to sit above you.
Oh.
Never want to sit above you.
You gave me really good bacon this morning.
I did. I tried.
Don't go there. Do not go there, anybody. Do not go there.
What? Do not go where?
I have a bad stagehand mind. Moving along.
Okay. Okay, so let's get into it then and talk about.
So a number of websites crashed when the exclusive announcements and signing came online. I believe it was on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday.
The exclusives?
Yeah, when on Wednesday, when those our Friends of CCI website went down. I also heard that it was really difficult to get into the portal. So we're gonna start talking about the exclusive allocation and how that all worked through, because I think that's the big thing that went down this week prior to Comic-Con. Of course, we've got all of the off-site activations that have been announced and signed up for, and a few of the parties, but those seem to be a little bit more, those are more off-site as opposed to what is going to be going on in the convention with the lack of lines since we've all gotten our exclusives
or not. I mean, I'm trying to find the poll, which I did, because it really did reflect very heavily on just how many people are going to be disappointed this time around, because it was a 59% split that people got nothing. There was like I say, the unofficial blog did their poll, and I think they came up with very similar numbers, around 65% people getting nothing. But I did my poll and I split it to nothing, 1 and 2 exclusive slots, 3 and 4 exclusives, and 5 and plus. It got separated down to 59% got nothing, 23%, he says off the top of his head, got 1 or 2. 5% got 3 and 4, and 2% Captain Lucky over here.
Yeah, just raised his hand.
Got 5 plus. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'd keep your head down if I were you.
Yes,
I really would. That's something you shouldn't be bragging about.
Okay, I want the Ant-Man minifig.
No,
if anybody
we are not doing that.
Okay.
We are not doing that.
Okay,
we're not pimping ourselves. Not on this. Deal with it.
Really?
No, we're not.
Moving on.
Thank you. I mean, the whole business of sites going down, I don't remember seeing that at all. The only thing I saw was when the actual exclusive portal opened, and when they were announcing that they were that the final stretch of the exclusives. But as for the actual when the exclusives went live, I didn't see that. I know your site had a little bit of an issue. But I thought that was not necessarily related to the exclusives.
It was related to the exclusive announcement.
Okay.
There's no question about it, because a lot of people wanted to compare notes to see what they got, and unlike people that got 5, yes, I am yelling at Dan.
We're not talking about it.
You're welcome to. Why don't you sit in the chair, Dan, and be a backdrop? You know, it's hard to keep talking.
Man. Do what you do.
Hard to keep talking about somebody.
No, if you're gonna brag about it, you're gonna be on camera.
Oh no.
So you know.
No. You over here in camera.
Anyway, no, he's staying off camera.
Yeah, okay.
He wants to quite obviously keep his head down. Okay. I think a lot of people had issues. I mean, obviously, we were going to have concerns. We're going to have complaints. We're going to have suggestions on how the situation could have been improved. Certainly, there was a couple of people that were suggesting that perhaps that the exclusives could have been separated down to signings and exclusives, because they are effectively two totally different categories of fandoms. So it was something that was suggested. I think also people, I saw a really good suggestion, which is worked on kind of like a point system. The idea being that, say you were allocated 20 points. If you wanted to put, you know, a bit like poker, put all of your chips onto one suggestion, into one area, that you would allocate your 20 points to, say, the Funko areas, instead of being able to apply for everything. So while there has been a bit of a scattershot, it also kind of, that would add a little bit more of a selective process, that you are almost virtually queuing up for a certain exclusive. Does that make sense?
It does. And I like the idea of being able to weight your submissions by what you're interested in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because there were a few people I know who got signings, for example, for cast members for shows that they kind of had not really a lot of interest in.
So why did they apply for them?
Well, because, you know, because you could apply for everything. And technically, if they hadn't applied for that show, then they wouldn't have gotten anything because of how statistics are. So, you know, being able to weight things in for Lego, for example, would make a lot of sense.
We've got Michael Mukulin who's watching, saying, I'm hoping next year they allow for the ability to delete or unsubmit an entry. So say, for example, you've got something that you then second-guessed yourself and thought, oh, no, maybe not. So that might be able to free up some spots for a weight line, as it were. Super Catchick, I like the idea of a point system. So many people signed up for things. Hello there, sir. How are you? Not too bad, is it? Do you want to come round? Come round and I'll tell you what. We've got this
friend on a line, but I keep coming around too.
We've got this. Well, I'm trying to go on. I'll bring this over a little bit further, so you can go on your knees and say. I mean, we've got Michael Morris joining us, regular watcher. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm well.
So, I mean, okay, let's go for a real world example about what happened. Exclusives. How did you do?
No signings. My friend got manifest. And Funko, Lego Star Wars, and then Unikitty. That was what I went out with.
That's not a bad haul. That's not too shabby at all. I think, I mean, you're, like I say, we've been talking, and you are in the rarity. And I think, likewise with Dan, anything above 2 is a rarity. Hello there, sir. How are you?
That's totally.
Harlequin. Yes, absolutely. So. And okay, and you're on one of the wonderful scooters.
You gotta try it out.
We absolutely. We took the scooters down. Yes, I did take a bit of a spill. I will. This is just a little bit of my contribution to the conversation. Any kind of dip or any kind of knock at all, any kind of sliver of a curb, you will go flying. So make sure that you're on the road. Make sure you're wearing a helmet if you can do, because that's how they advise you to do it. But you will take a spill. So don't
go too fast.
Don't go too fast
until you really get the hang of it.
Absolutely.
Because they
but they are fun, aren't they? They are. And they are bloody handy to do. I mean, say for example, if you are going down to Seaport Village, or if you're just wanting to get from one end of the convention centre to the other, it's a shame, because it's something I'm going to try and bring up, that the city themselves have said there are technically only 4 areas that you are allowed to leave your scooter or bike while downtown. I'll have to bring that up. It was posted by the San Diego Tribune this morning, so I'm going to find out where that is. But if there was like a handful of them at the end, say by the Hilton down there, and then down by Seaport Village, just to go backwards and forwards.
Conveniency.
Absolutely. Very handy. Very handy. Admittedly, the bike is very much the cheaper option, considering that we went for a ride around Balboa Park. The whole thing cost me $2, if that. And that was for the afternoon. It was really, really good. So got the chance to go up to the Hall of Champions, check out the space, which is going to be used for their Centre for Popular Culture. So that was good. Right, okay. In terms of what's been currently constructed, like I say, the tent's going up as we speak. How do we feel it's going to go in terms of the lines this year? Because obviously everything's gone, or moving on off online. You've got several thousand people who are going to then not be queuing up. Where do you think they're going to be going?
Well, I'd imagine. I mean, y'all talked about line culture and everything, and I don't think even this will stop that culture. And then even like with Funko, you might have a ticket, but you still want to be first in line to get the limited edition, the one that you do want. So there will still be people lining up for the everything else line. And then I guess because they haven't really changed anything with Hall H this year, Well,
the only thing they've changed with Hall H is that there are going to be wristbands, but they are RFID wristbands.
Oh yeah, with the badge.
So yeah, well, that's the thing, we don't know. We've been told it's going to be actually kind of like a RFID,
like certain like offsites that they
like an offsite, like a separate tag wristband. How that's going to work, we'll find out as of Thursday morning, I guess, because people will be lining up relatively early. I mean, I already know that people are going to be camping out for Doctor Who. If you've seen the trailer, by the way, it looks very cool. They just posted that in between the World Cup footage in the BBC. So it was a nice little, not bad actually, 40 seconds.
Yeah, nice
40-second teaser featuring the new companions, teasing the Doctor coming in and generally messing around with time, as is the Doctor's want. So no, that was rather cool. In terms of the rest of the offsites that are currently available, Jack Ryan is pretty much completed from what we've seen. That is going to effectively be an off. I saw a Jack Ryan activation at MCM London, and it certainly wasn't to this scale. This is taking the idea of you applying for the position of either a field agent or a analyst, which at the end of the day kind of sits in with the whole idea of what Jack Ryan is. Is he the field agent or is he an analyst? It's one of the two. This, however, completes with a zip line from a Huey helicopter, which is several stories up. It looks very, very impressive, and that is currently taking up the spot where the Blade Runner experience was last year, and also Vikings the previous couple of years.
Well, I'm gonna go. I just want to say hi.
Oh, sir, it's been a pleasure. Yeah. You too. Thank you very much for dropping by.
So be listening to it as we walk around.
And take in the convention center.
Oh, definitely. Soaking it all up.
Excellent. Take care. See you later. Excellent. So there you go. That's first drop in. I mean, we're at 25. That's not bad. I think we're still going to be here for another 20 minutes if you want to drop by. Other hangouts that are currently, the technical issue that we are having is that we wanted to try and put a separate camera on the hangout, and I wanted to do a little bit more of a remote report, because across from the convention center over at Gaslamp, you do have the tin fish, which is currently being transformed. It's not just an activation that's sitting outside of the tin fish. Yeah, we've been trying to invite people in, though. That's the thing. Been struggling. I mean, I don't know if you want to give it a go. The thing is, yeah, let's see. I mean, Dan is turning around and saying that he might be able to do that, so we'll invite him and we'll see what happens. But that is currently very nearly close to completion. I mean, it's the framework is all up. It's looking rather nice, and like I say, it is actually going to be taking over tin fish. So I can imagine they'll be kind of holding off on that final connection to the building until the actual activation finished. But NBC have always had a very popular off-site in that area, either with things like Heroes Reborn. What else did they have? They've had a couple the last couple of years.
Sorry, I was dealing with it. I was looking at the technical stuff. Yeah, I'm not paying any attention.
You're not paying any attention at all.
No.
When I talk, you don't pay attention. I
well, you know, I don't know. In terms of off, we're talking about off
Just over the activation, certainly the Tim Fish. I'm trying to remember what the other ones were, but it's mostly done by NBC, like I say. And this time they really have gone all out, especially connecting with the Tim Fish restaurant, which kind of ties in with the show. So that's going to be rather cool. Let's have a look. Lines for off-sites are going to be crazy this year, says Listener Speg. Not that they aren't every year, but this year's going to be even crazier. That's possible. That's possible. Karma Savage, can't wait to check out the Jack Ryan experience. I think it's going to be fun to do, but it's certainly not going to be the Blade Runner experience. Blade Runner, I think, just took it up a whole notch and really went interactive with it and became something rather special. Andrew English, I did Jack Ryan at MCM and I was an analyst. I was an analyst as well, but mostly because there was a fault with my gun. Not that I was shooting blanks or anything, but we'll let that slide. Okay. Right, let's have a look. Leonard, do you know where and when we can pick up children under 12 tickets? As far as I'm aware, that is as of Tuesday, and that's from sales, by all accounts. Although I will check on that and I will post on my Twitter after the account.
It's anytime the registration is open.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, you can go in and pick up a ticket.
But certainly like the internationals, the press and everything else, yeah, it's as of Tuesday. It's as of Tuesday. So I will be heading down there myself. So,
Not for kid tickets. But
you are only as old as you feel.
But for the international,
absolutely.
A lot of us did already receive our tickets, our badges already. In addition to the pins, we do have a pin trade thread up on the forum. If you got the space pin and want the Comic-Con logo one, or vice versa, you can try and coordinate with somebody and do a swap there. With regards to that.
I want to see some sun.
Oh, okay.
I'm a tourist.
I was trying to avoid the sun.
You avoid the sun. I'm trying to be a tourist here. Hey, factor 50, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to brown up, because the one thing I usually don't get is a decent suntan.
So what they're doing in the background behind us, which is what all the clanking and noise about is, they're actually starting to set the tents up. We were going to do the hangout on the grass today. However, we were able to see that they were setting up, so we decided to opt for right in front of the Hall H.
Anyway,
doors.
Right. Okay, so other things that we can talk about, certainly in terms of what's being prepared. The wraps are going up around the buildings at the moment. We haven't anything up on Petco yet, but we'll find out how that's going to pan out. We don't know what the various the various displays are. Nothing up on Hard Rock as yet, which is the ones I always try and look out for, because they do indicate to me which ones are going to be crap for the next 12 months. Because every film that's ever gone up on a Hard Rock has been awful. So you're not paying attention at all. We were told by Grand Design when we had them on for the hangout for the experience over at Petco Park, they kind of let slip that the wrap that was going to go up on the Omni was Mr. Mercedes. They lied. They lied to me. They lied to us. There's two actually. There's on I'd say the west side of the building. It's Jack Ryan, which they haven't done any of the windows yet, but you can see John Krasinski's face peeping out from the actual framework. And on the main tall body side, the east side of the building, that is the Gifted. It's the Fox show. So I find that's interesting that that's getting the push that it is. I mean, I don't know. I think I've talked about this on the Hangout before. How is that show actually getting received in the US? The Gifted. Is it? Because I don't see any chatter when it's on. I don't see any social media chatter, and that's never a good sign.
A lot of people seem to have liked it, but it hasn't seemed to have garnered the following that some of the other shows have in the past. So well, I think it's going to. I mean, I believe it's been renewed for the next for next year. I also believe that because of all of the other shows that are happening and the time at which it was released, that it kind of has gotten
lost in the mix. I mean, I know Cloak and Dagger has been certainly a big show that's gotten a lot of attention. I'm guessing that's enough. Fair enough. Okay. Hello. How are you?
Hi.
Yeah. I mean, other people dropping in is fantastic. So let's have a look at what else. Yeah, the other banners and the wraps that are going up. They've tried to do it so you couldn't actually tell because they've gone from the top left-hand corner. I don't know if you can just move the umbrella just for a second, Alyssa.
Sure.
But over by the Hilton Bayfront, yeah, like I say, they tried to do it from the top corner, so it was kind of not revealed too soon. But yeah, but at the moment we saw the words from the creators of, or from the creator of Suns. Yeah, that would be Mayans. That would be the new series from. That would be Mayans. That would be the new series from Kurt Sutter, existing in the Sons of Anarchy world. So that's going to be the big wrap up there. People have been saying, "Come on, where's Legion? Where's that being represented?" At the end of the day, I don't think it needs the massive push that it has had because it's got an established audience now. So yeah, let's see what else we've got. One or two people asking the DC Universe activation yet. I believe it is in progress. Actually up and running? No. They are taking over the Hilton Bayfront. Sorry, the Hilton Gas Lamp. Sorry, directly opposite the convention center. The wrap is up at the moment over the building, advertising DC Universe, and we were hoping to actually do this from the pool balcony, looking down on the convention center. Unfortunately, DC are taking over that hotel, so they've kind of gotten that whole space. They're using it for interviews. They're using it for DC kind of all access. A number of their shows as well. So they are effectively using a lot of that hotel. So if you want to go star spotting, especially for your DC crowd, that's where you need to be hanging out. Is the the Hilton Gas Lamp. So yeah, James Ramar said he thinks. Probably go do an outtake reel in the Black Lightning panel, which should be hilarious. Paul Guy was filming till 6 a.m. yesterday, and then had to come here. Well, yeah, I mean, what about the Hard Rock Cafe restaurant, Sci-Fi taking it over again? Yes, they are. There is a restaurant that is open. I've forgotten the name of it, but they are branding it as something special. I spotted that yesterday. I should have made a note. But no, it is a Sci-Fi restaurant. They are taking over.
Interesting thing. I was taking a look at, speaking of sci-fi, I was taking a look to see whether or not sci-fi was going to be doing a live broadcast this year. And anybody correct me if you've actually seen like Zach Levi from the top of the MMM like they did last year. Nobody's seen tickets for anything. So I'm not sure that we're going to actually get anything from them. It doesn't surprise me. 2 years of fans standing out in the direct sunlight with no chairs. Apparently they were pretty adamant about not letting people leave, you know, when they were getting heat, when they were having heat problems with the heat. So it doesn't surprise me that Sci-Fi is not doing that again this year. However, I could be wrong, and somebody please correct me if you've seen any notification that they are doing an event similar to the live broadcast that they did last year.
Yeah.
But I don't think they are.
Okay. Right. What else have we got in our...
The next thing we've got here is the... So how many people got tickets to Conan?
Yeah, that's a very good question. How did you do on that one? It's looking like a very popular show. I also quite like the addition to Conan Con, which is like an additional room about 2 blocks up. It's a dedicated comedy room featuring a number of final space panels and Q&As, some podcasts, all curated by Conan and his team, and apparently that's where he will be hanging out. He'll be dropping in for a couple of the special appearances. So I do quite like that. I thought that was rather cool. Although I got the press release for that on the Saturday morning. the actual news for that offsite went out on the Friday. We're talking 200 tickets. They sold almost instantly. Oh, they didn't sell. It's free. It was an RSVP. They went almost instantly. So I did kind of post about that a little late, and I'd like to apologise for that. But at the end of the day, all I could do was share with what I got from Team Conan. So no, that looks rather interesting. People have been asking about the way that it's going to be organised in terms of picking up your wristbands, picking up your ticket, sorry, and also just the actual taking part in the taping. Same as last year. It really is. It's a case of queuing up nice and early to get to make guarantee that you get your seat or a seat. Get your wristband. You can then disappear off and do the rest of the day. I'm hoping it's not going to be as absolutely chaotic as it was in previous years, because certainly when I went last year, they had the line from Spreckles all the way down to the Horton Plaza, which is some 5 blocks. It was quite insane. So hopefully it's not as bad as that, but who knows? At the end of the day, it's Conan taking over. So it's him doing his usual thing.
One thing they do say is that you're able to pick up, if you are lucky enough to have Conan tickets or have access to them through a friend. One of the things they say is that you can pick up your tickets later on in the day. You don't, from what they've said, you don't have to be there and queue up at 8 a.m. in the morning or whenever people start queuing up for Conan. I really don't have any idea. Those people will, of course, get the closer seats. As a friend of mine has said, be able to see their nose hairs. If you're interested in that, then queue up early. But if you're interested in just simply being in the room, you don't need to wake up to do the early queuing type of thing.
The one thing I will say about that, however, is that they do oversell these seats. So if you aren't there from a relatively early time, then there is a very big possibility you may be shut out. So just don't leave it too late. You don't have to go utterly mental, but if you aren't there at a reasonable time, then you can be shut out. So
what are people saying on the chat? There's also been a lot of question about which Conan Pops are going to be on what days. The only thing that I'm that we can be pretty sure of is that Thursday was going to be the Predator pop. That was the only thing that I really got. Have other people heard definitively, if I could use that word, what is going to be given away on Friday, Saturday, and Wednesday nights?
Yeah,
I think that those are still a little bit up in question.
Yeah, Jennifer Musquiz, I'm actually kind of okay with no Conan tickets this year. It demands a lot of time within that day. I'll certainly go with that. It goes through Horton and through it. The line is ridiculous. Let's have a look. Michael Mikulan, have they started blocking off Harbour Drive? How's that looking? That will not happen until Wednesday. It happens as of the day of the convention. It's basically when the shuttles start, because effectively the whole of Harbour Drive becomes one big shuttle park. So until the shuttles are running, there's no real need for it to be shut. So yeah, there we go. Let's have a look. Lots of scavenger hunts, says Leanne D. Super catchy. This will be the year of the scavenger hunts. Sherlock CC. Buffy and my friends at Boom Howdy are running one for Castle Rock as well. It will be fun. Indeed, it seems to be that's something to keep people occupied.
Castle Rock is getting a big push at this point. I think it doesn't hurt that that the first premiere showing is in the next week or two. That's a heads up on the what we're going to be talking about in the week in TV later on.
Yeah, certainly people have been asking me which, as one of the big conflicts, because there's plenty at this point. It's an embarrassment of riches if you've been through the app, which something else I was going to talk about next. The app is absolutely now live, so do get your the schedules updated on there. put in your interest and do let people know where and when you feel that you're going to be. So it does kind of give a sense of the popularity of rooms. So do take part in that.
And one thing about the app is that it is the most current information. Any place else, I know that on the forum and in a number of other places, people have copy and pasted the listings, but there have been new additions to the programming since it was announced a week and a half ago. So I don't know if we want to start to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll let you do that in a second, because like I said, just finish off what I was saying here. The question I was asked this morning was, which one would you go for? Would you go for Castle Rock, or would you go for Halloween as part of the Blumhouse presentation in Hall H? Well, it's a tough one, because I think Castle Rock has the potential to be your next new favorite program. It is the anthology program based on the universe of Stephen King and his stories, certainly the short stories that he's done. So you'll see a little bit of references to Cujo in there, to It, to the Shawshank Redemption, to I think Dolan's Cadillac will probably get a mention in there. So yeah, it's like an amalgam of all the Stephen King writers. So I think it's going to be a big show, and I think it'll be one of your favorites in the forthcoming weeks. But then again, it does come out in the next couple of weeks. Halloween is a little bit further down the line, and it's very possible. Well, we know that Jamie Lee Curtis is in town. Will be attending for that. However, someone else that is in town is James Gunn, who announced by Twitter that he's going to be bringing something special and sweet to San Diego Comic-Con. He's actually signed up for a new horror film? Has Dan disappeared? Yeah. Typical. No, it's okay, it doesn't matter. It's okay, it's all right. He's basically signed up for a new project, which is I think it's going to be a Blumhouse production. So it's very possible that he may just drop in on that particular panel. Where he's going to be on the Friday, who knows? But there we go. That's those two. Right. So the new additions. There's a couple in there which definitely caught my attention.
How to be a superstar.
Shall we go?
No, you go.
We'll go.
No,
We'll go. Yeah. Well, it's number one. That it's on the Thursday. This is 6 p.m. in room 7AB. This is How to Be a Superstar Host. Which, if anyone wants to send me a message along the lines of, okay, Leonard, you need to attend this. To learn how to be a superstar host. It's basically kind of giving some hints and tips, practical advice on hosting a YouTube show, a Twitch channel, and
paying attention to your co-host might be right up there with
it could be an idea. But that's that was sort of the first editions. That's on Thursday at 6 p.m. in room 7AB.
Marvel Studios, the first 10 years, a theatrical prop development. That's interesting. I hadn't really read the description of it, but it makes a lot of sense that they would be talking about what has happened over the course of the past 10 years. And you got to think that there's going to be something else that Marvel Studios comes up with over the course of this next weekend.
We kind of hoped that Marvel would be doing some little panels like this to celebrate the 10 years beyond the Mondo prints and the various banners that are littering around San Diego at the moment. So, no, that sounds like an interesting panel, especially for the Marvel studio heads coming into town. Right, the next one is very much a late edition, but I'm very glad to see it in there. It's Steve Ditko, Artist. This is going to be held on Friday. It's at 4:15, so it's the same time as the Marvel Studios panel, unfortunately. But it's in room 4. It's a reasonably sized room. And you've got some bloody good panelists that's taking part in this. Certainly, a number of Steve Ditko's immediate friends and influencers are going to be taking part. I know that Paul Levitz is going to be in the room for this particular event. I'm glad that Comic-Con have found space in their programming to honor Steve Ditko. However close it was to that particular setup.
Steve Ditko was reclusive So he didn't attend a lot of panels, so there a lot of conventions. So the stories probably won't be as
personable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the Len Wein Memorial that's taking place on the Thursday, and that's going to be very much more a loving. At the end of the day, there's more people who know him, there's more people who saw his work. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I mean, we're looking at Gary Croft, Steve Lahoa, Paul Levitz, Nick Lowe, David Swartz, and moderator Scott Dumblia. They're not lightweights in the world of comics, so they are going to be talking about Ditko, the artist, Ditko the man, while screening a video loop of nearly 150 images. And I think if you really want to find just the influence of Steve Ditko, seeing that many of his panels in one rush, that's going to be quite that's going to be quite heady. That's going to be something else. But that's going to be in room 4 at Friday, 4:15.
I believe I heard that they canceled the artist edition, IDW's artist edition panel for the Steve Ditko. So if you were looking forward to that panel, keep checking the programming, see what's happened. Maybe they found another room where they could have moved that too.
Well, I know you're excited about that, but I know we were speaking to several people that feel that the artist editions have lost some of their luster. So
I understand that. However, you've got a new one with Starlin Art, and the Byrne X-Men have come out this week, which have come out and are doing exclusives for San Diego, and those have a lot of people talking.
Okay.
You know.
Right, next. You.
No.
I did Steve Ditko.
Oh, I know, but I wanted to do Ditko, not Warner Archives Toonstock, the Outrageous Edition, which is Saturday at 10 a.m. in room 5AB. Toonstock, are we talking the 1930s and 40s old style? Looney Tunes?
No, we're not.
Okay.
I'll bring up the description for you. Because it sounds, okay.
This is what happens when Alyssa doesn't read the script.
Or do any research.
Yeah.
It is an all-new, outrageous rendition of the popular Toonstock, this time putting the spotlight on all-star voice actor John DiMaggio.
Nice.
And his take on Aquaman and so many memorable characters. Maybe Big John will even be game to sing along with his Aquaman's rousing song of heroism. As always, the second half of the festivities will feature you in the beloved Batman, the Brave and the Bold, Mayhem, and the Music Master sing-along. See Warner Archive Collection podcast host Matt Patterson and D.W. Ferrante and the moderator Gary Minio. He's everywhere, isn't he? For a melodious salute surrounded by surprise guests and so cool Warner Archive prizes. Handy for those into your voiceover acting talent and also just your, this is looking fun.
Sounds good.
Sorry, I'm just receiving.
No worries.
Let's have a look.
No worries.
All right, okay.
The next item that we've got up, next panel that has been an addition is the handbook for working in video games, and that's going to be Sunday at 2 p.m. in room 28DE. So that's, if working in video games.
Yep.
Somebody's got to do it. Absolutely. Why not? Why not?
Right. I'm kind of being updated on something that we're going to be talking about at the end, so bear with me a second.
Okay.
A little bit something for the people who will be hanging around San Diego Comic-Con after the convention on the Monday. So.
Oh, nice, nice. Our next show will be the Monday following Comic-Con. We will not be having a broadcast next Sunday. We're still currently trying to nail down a site for the show next Monday. We're hoping to have a really nice location, but stay tuned. We will be broadcasting that. We will be publishing that later on.
Okay, well.
No,
that's the thing. You just kind of stole my thunder a little bit on that because I've got a couple of things that we're going to be organising about that.
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
Basically, we are hosting the wrap-up show, which we can't reveal the title of and we can't reveal the location of. We are going to be hosting that in a rather prestigious location. However, we are going to be looking for the first 15 people to respond via social media to. Excuse me, you can apply on your own, mate.
Social media.
Social media. You know, if you're gonna show up late with this, and then brag about how many exclusives you've got.
You asked.
This is true. This is true.
I've got none.
You see, he got yours then. He got you, fair enough. Right, that makes sense. In actual fact, he did get only 2. She got 3, and he's just claiming them. Fine. Okay. Yeah, it's the first.
Ant-Man minifig.
No. God Almighty, we're not pimping for ourselves. Jesus.
Why not?
No, you do it on your own channel. You've got your own Twitter for that, and you never use it. Okay. Right. Yeah. Right. So yes, it's the first 15 people who use the hashtag I wanna come SDCC. Okay, and it's I wanna come. That's COME SDCC. Okay, right. So it's I wanna come on the hashtag. Just send us a message. We'll basically put you into the list. It's the first 15 people. I will tell you, this is a prestige location. What we will be requiring you to be is in San Diego at midday on the Monday. After the convention, we'll be asking you to gather at the gas lamp quarter sign, where we will then escort you to the location that has been chosen and has been gratefully donated to us. But it's
wonderful.
But we're only looking for 15, unfortunately. So it's the first 15 people. I want to come SDCC. So IWANNA COME SDCC. I want to come SDCC.
Monday at what time?
That will be going on air at midday.
So noon.
Noon, as we have done in previous years.
So we want to gather. You have to be available between 11:30 and
1:30.
Yeah, because it will be a short show.
It'll be a short show, but well, you know what we say.
No, I was trying to make a funny.
Yeah,
that was
okay.
a funny.
That was a funny. Fair enough. I mean, the shows that we've done in previous years have gone to about an hour and a half, and that was when we had a relatively light thing to talk about, just the highlights of our week. This is going to be a slightly longer show because there's so many changes, and it's about how things will affect each other. So
I mean, big picture, a lot of people have some real serious questions about how the exclusives and signings and wristbands are all going to work, and how lines are going to work, and how that's going to affect the rest of the con. Are there going to be more people on the floor because nobody's standing in line first thing in the morning? That's a valid question. Are people going to spend more money on the floor because people aren't spending so much time in line? I'm sure that's a question that CCI would love to answer, because in the end, they need to get vendors in, and how they do that is by promising a certain amount of footfall traffic and money spent. So on the convention floor, so we may see a bump in that. It's an interesting idea. To see how traffic pattern and flows are going to be. And that's one of the topics we will absolutely be addressing on the Monday following the show. It will be first impressions and maybe a little bit of Monday morning quarterbacking, but I think we need to do that dissection and that deconstruction to see how things work out.
Sure. Well, I mean, like I say, the shows that we've done in the past, we kind of set ourselves a pretty high bar. We had a great show in a premier hotel in town. We were going to be having it on the rooftop looking down over the city, but we had a bit of a rainfall. We had rain falling directly after Comic-Con. So it kind of just, we ended up being inside. And then the year before that, we were on the boat out on the back of the bayfront. Let's put it this way. If our plans come together, this will be a hangout on that kind of bar. Okay, so it's the first 15 people. I want to come SDCC. I understand there's like 5 or 6 that are already in there already. So if you do want to join us, trust me, it'd be worth your time. Okay, right. So I think we can kind of wrap things up in terms of Week in TV. I don't know if you want to quickly do that.
Sure. We're doing, since there won't be a panel, There won't be an article next week due to San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to do 2 weeks in television, and this is primarily for people. Please, please, please remember to set your DVR, because we're all heading to Comic-Con, and there's a few things that are starting to happen, which people are going to want to see. We've got what I've been terming as a Shark Week light. It's not because they've postponed Sharknado 6, the final Sharknado movie, to August. Where they're not going to be having Shark Week like the Discovery Channel usually has Shark Week during San Diego Comic-Con. It will be on actually happening in August. But the big things that we're going to see over the course of the next 2 weeks is Wynonna Earp and Killjoys are returning, both on Friday, July 20th. Definitely shows with huge followings. Personally, I love Killjoys. I love science fiction that's actually set out in outer space. And if you haven't caught up on that, that's a fun show to start recording and start binging once you get back from San Diego. It'll, certainly, since you're going to need something to put your feet up after the con and get rested, that might be a good show to start binging. Wynonna Earp has got a huge following. Maybe we can get a couple of the people on from the podcast Wynonna Earp in the coming months. I know that the gentleman who does the Wynonna Earp podcast is going to be going to Dragon Con, and I'd love to get him on in August. We'll reach out to him and see if he's available. The other couple of shows that are happening is Suits. USA Suits is coming back for its 8th season, and Cinemax's Outcast. I have not, since this Outcast is on Showtime, since Outcast is on Cinemax, I have not been following this show, so I'd appreciate anybody's feedback on that. But the second season is happening soon. Also, Orange is the New Black, not so much a sci-fi show, but certainly has gotten a lot of following and is a good show worthy of watching. The highly anticipated Castle Rock, as we talked about earlier, is on Hulu on July 25th. The blog team recommends watching the premiere due to the great cast lineup, as well as being set in Stephen King's universe. Just to go back to what we were talking about earlier, is it's getting a huge push, and it, given the fact that it's in Stephen King's universe, never know what to expect.
No, I mean, as somebody who reads Stephen King's short story stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh no! To be honest, while I have read his novels. Certainly, I kind of tailed off in the last decade and a half. Certainly, for example, the thinner sequel, the Shining sequel, I didn't exactly go into, because obviously we do know there's going to be the Shining sequel as starring Ewan McGregor. That's in pre-production as we speak. But I'm a fan of the short stories. So yeah, I'm expecting to see like Rock and Roll is Still Alive in there. Mm-hmm. Which is just one of my favorite stories. I know this is where the couple drive into a town. They don't know how they got there, and they suddenly realize, as they are wandering around and speaking to people, that this is heaven, hell for rock and rollers. And so you've got Buddy Holly up on stage, and you've got Jimi Hendrix up on stage, and you've got all these dead rockers, but they are trapped in this limbo. So there could be elements of that in there. There could be Night Flyer. Night Flyer was a good story where it was basically about the father and son vampire. So they could be in there. They could go in all sorts of directions, because of course that's where his imagination went.
I'm wondering how much of an influence Stephen King himself is going to be on the selection of the writing material, and how prevalent he'll be in the actual writer's room. I think that could be.
You know what? Actually, I don't. I want him to acknowledge it,
Yeah.
But I want other people to take it on, because then it becomes something else. You're kind of taking Stephen King through a prism, because I think if anyone's seen Stephen King's directed stuff, where he directs his own material, he's either too close to it, or he's just not very good. He's a great writer, but let's take a step back. Let's have someone else.
His medium is on the page,
yes,
and not in the video, not on the camera.
So let's have someone else.
My background is he grew up in Stephen King. Obviously, grew up in Maine, and which is where I was from. And the anecdotal stories that we've heard about him through the grapevine of some of just the absolutely crazy stuff that he does. He's a very kind, very nice man, but apparently he was an extremely strange college roommate. That's the one, the one rumor that, everybody was just kind of saying, yeah, we didn't quite know what to think of him when he was in college, a young Stephen King. So but regardless, this is a show to watch. This is a show to set up on your DVR. Let us know what you think. I'd be really interested in hearing people's feedback on this when we get back onto our regular scheduled weekend television. Say goodbye to a number of different shows. The first one is the season finale of Colony, is ending on USA on July 25th, and Code Black. We also say goodbye to Code Black.
Okay.
Code Black apparently was canceled mid-season. And well, I'm reading as I'm going. Sorry, guys. I was writing this. We were putting this together very, very late last night. So it's been a kind of busy few weeks, like everybody else is having, and getting ready for San Diego, and seriously packing. I do not envy you guys. Pack well, because Leonard apparently missed a few things on his.
I missed a pair of trainers.
Regardless, the excellent sitcom Ghosted was canceled, and I know that this is probably old news, but I've finally been able to start watching it, and even Caroline has gotten into it as being just a funny, lightweight, tongue-in-cheek nerd comedy. That half-an-hour sitcom, and that it's unfortunate that that's canceled. And that is pretty much the weekend television.
Okay. Right. I think then we can really much just say thank you very much indeed. Oh,
I forgot one more thing.
Go on.
Yes. Doctor Who, there is a missing episode of Doctor Who that's going to be aired. Will be airing on Thursday, July 19th on BBC America. I'm not sure when it's going to be from, but I believe it's one of the earlier episodes.
Fair enough.
Okay. Now
right.
I'm really done.
No, you really?
Really.
Excellent stuff. Right then. So I just wanted to say thank you very much indeed to everybody who's been watching the Hangouts as we've been running these over the course of the the months and the various conventions that we've been covering up to this, the big enchilada, of course. I am going to be making an announcement in the next couple of weeks about when we will be returning, because we won't be returning straight away. We are taking a little bit of a break, as we usually do. We usually take at least 2 or 3 weeks, but we're going to be taking possibly a little bit longer, unless Alyssa wants to take the baton and do her own show. But I am restructuring the website. I'm restructuring what an Englishman in San Diego is going to be, and I'm also going to be restructuring what our coverage is going to be. So while I still want to do the Hangouts, they're going to be in a slightly different format. So watch this space. Still trying to think it all through, still trying to work out the boundaries for the various elements, still trying to find a home for Dan Berry and his things, because he puts a lot of hard work and effort into his posts, and I'd like to try and still have a home for his bits and pieces.
I think bottom line with regards to the Hangout is that it is going to continue, and that we are going to be talking about it, and I will push to make sure that we're back as soon as possible.
Yeah, either that or Alyssa's going to be doing it on her own.
Moving on, to be determined later.
So there we go. Yeah.
We are working on this.
Okay.
Let us fill us in. Let us know what you would like.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd like to hear from you.
Sure. People have been asking what the weather is going to be like here in San Diego. I did actually get it sent. It's in the 80s. Yeah, and humid. Today apparently is going to be overcast. Really? It's nicely clear at the moment. It's nicely warm. We did actually have someone also sent me a conversion for the visiting Brits. Yeah, you're looking at it's toasty, and not only that, but it's all next week. So make sure you bring plenty of Factor 50. Make sure that you bring your sun cream, because this is going to be a hot one.
You'll want to pack an umbrella. You're going to want to pack lightweight clothing. It's not getting very cold at night. Somebody
Someone who knows us.
somebody
Okay.
So those are the types of things that you want to pack. I like to pack a couple of pairs of shoes, battery packs.
Oh my word, I've just recognized who the hell it is. Get your ass in here.
Uh-oh.
I got to work, but I just wanted to say hi.
Just come in and sit down. Just at least say hi. At least say hi. Don't worry, I'm not going to interview you.
All right.
Because you've got a lot to get done. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eddie Ibrahim. You've just recognized who it is, haven't you?
I just recognized him, Bill.
I think everyone's no, it's not. It's not just the beard; it's the lack of suit.
Yes.
Yes. And the hat.
Is it everyone just starting to arrive now?
No, we've been
here
doing it
for
for a couple of days.
Oh, fair enough. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Yeah, I'm not going to interview you because at the end of the day, I think I want to see how this weekend's going to play out myself.
It works out well.
Yeah. So are we. Absolutely.
We've been having the conversations over the previous weeks about certainly Hall H programming, Ballroom 20, and it seems like it's a very deliberate programming, and the way that it's all being paced out, and the way that the role of the day works, it's been very, very, very carefully worked out.
Crafted.
Lots of great stuff.
Oh yeah, lots of great stuff. Looking forward to it. So if you do see him in Hall H, go up and say hi, because this is the guy you need to thank for all of the content.
He'll be a lot more spiffy.
Oh, very much so.
Probably.
And you will certainly see him at the beginning of each day in Hall H. Welcome.
All right.
Eddie,
Congratulations.
Thank
Okay,
you.
too, man.
Thank you.
Glad
Thank
guys
you.
make it out. I hope you have a great show. Hope you guys really enjoy
Oh,
it.
absolutely. And you too.
I'll very quickly off camera.
Best of luck. Best of luck
So,
to
yeah,
Eddie
we
and
saw
the
the way
CCI
the
crew,
room's
to
setting up.
everything. Hope it goes smoothly and it goes well. That's really is our heartfelt.
Sorry, no, I love that. I love that Eddie Ibrahim's just dropped in.
Yes,
That's fantastic.
absolutely. You never know what's going to happen in live television.
Absolutely. Right. So thank you very much indeed for joining us for all of the shows up to now. Like I say, hopefully you can join us for our wrap-up show. That's going to be at midday at PT. So it's going to be from an undisclosed location. As soon as we've gotten all of our entries, it's the first 15 that send us the hashtag I want to come SDCC. So it's IWANNACOME SDCC. We've got 9 slots filled, so we're looking for 4 more, 6 more. Dear God, the heat is getting to me, man. It's getting...
See, this is why I have the umbrella.
Yeah.
Do not forget your sun umbrella.
Yeah, but I will say, like I say, it's a prestige location, and you are looking for it. Right, let's just say thank you very much indeed.
This is not a dry heat. This is a humid heat.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Is there anything you want to say in terms of say thank you for everybody?
Just thank you for everybody. Thank you for everybody on the forum. Thank you for people who are going along with us on this experiment of the new line lotteries and Comic-Con, and enjoying the Geek Drive that's going to happen next week.
This week.
It's our
this week. this week.
Well, it depends on when the week starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Monday.
For myself, I'd like to say, I mean, there's a bunch of people I want to say thanks to. I certainly want to say thanks to all of our special guests, people that have come onto the hangout as guests of us. Certainly Jennifer Musquiz. Don't forget, there are still some slots open for Zombie Walk if you want to take part in that, because it is another big element of Comic-Con. Looking forward to see how that plays out. So all the people that have come on to talk about conventions and Comic-Con with us, I'd like to thank people who have taken part in live remote reports for us from various conventions, because they have allowed us to get a sense of shows out there and allow us to kind of spread the word about some smaller events, and it's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Kind of getting those live reports. And last but not least, thank you very much indeed for watching each and every week. We appreciate that there's an audience for us, and that you get out of it the same as what we do, and because we have a lot of fun doing these. So yeah, thank you very much indeed.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well said. Thank you.
Have yourself an absolutely incredible, memorable, epic, suntan burnless, sleep deprived, memory filled San Diego Comic-Con 2018
with a party or two thrown in.
Absolutely, with a party or two thrown in.
Just, you
Absolutely.
know, gotta hang out with the friends.
From myself, Leonard, and from Alyssa, where can people find you online, Alyssa?
Friends of CCI is my Twitter handle, and always can find people on the forum at friendsofcc.com/forum.
Was that the first time you actually got that completely right first time?
No, I maybe made the third time.
Wow. Okay. And for myself, you can follow me on Englishman SDCC. I would pay attention to those social medias and on the website as well over the next month. Like I say, changes are afoot.
They may be afoot, but we're still going to maintain the hangout.
You may maintain that.
Oh, he's going to maintain the hangout.
Fair enough.
You know, we both need our geek therapy sessions.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
right. If you're coming into town, love to see you when you're here. Enjoy
travels.
the weather. Safe travels.
Seriously.
And we'll see you soon.
Pack well. Bye bye.
Bye bye.